guys, welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. The 58-page handwritten letter that Sarah Boone brought to court a couple weeks ago is now available. I downloaded it last night and I sifted through it. I didn't read the entire thing. Some of it's hard to read a little bit, and about, I don't know, at least half the document, 2/3, thereabouts, is her rehashing some law stuff she probably copied from the book at the jail library, as well as some definitions. But we're going to go through the actual letter portion of the 58 pages, so it won't be as painful. All right, so here is her hand-delivered letter. She's very specific to make sure she writes that it's hand-delivered on June 7th to the Honorable Judge Michael Kraynick in Orlando, Florida. And she lists both her address at the jail as well as her legal correspondence address, which I'm not sure why she's got that, but all right. So here is the beginning of the letter. Honorable Judge Kraynick, ongoing 5 years. Why can't I use my constitutional rights? Am I the only one who cares about the ongoing violations of? What violations, and what are you not able to use with your constitutional rights, Sarah? I think you've had quite a bit of leeway. You know, Cashman's your 8th attorney. You've had a lot explained to you. I don't know. I mean, your rights are not being violated. I don't know what violations, and then when she's put on the carpet, remember she called out in court. She called Patricia Cashman that she lied to her. She couldn't even come up with what the lie told to her was, supposed lie. So yeah, that's, to me, is like whatever. Why can't she have a bond? Well, you could probably have a bond hearing, Sarah, but I'm pretty sure it's going to go like this. Hey, can I have a bond? No. Next. I mean, come on. Sarah, you are in jail for murdering your boyfriend, George. You know, and this could have all been done sooner had you cooperated with one of the previous attorneys. And she's asking why she can't have all of her medical records. Well, it's been told that she does have that. Cashman went over all that. Have all of my digital evidence and discovery. I understand that she's got that as well. All of her paperwork, notes, letters, pictures, everything of mine returned by former attorneys. Again, Patricia Cashman stated that she has access to all this stuff, so I'm not really sure why she keeps bringing it back up. Why can't she speak to her investigator? Well, I don't know. That would probably be between her and her attorney, I would assume. Have a complete download of my phone. I don't know how many rights you have to your phone. Again, if it's in discovery, I'm sure that your attorney can get that for her. Have any of my witness lists? I would assume that a lot of this stuff is available to her if she asks for it. Give any insight, understanding, clarification, truths about my case, especially to my attorney. Well, what clarifications or understandings or other insights or truths do you need to give to your attorneys? You haven't told them the same stuff every single time. I mean, again, what have you not said to these attorneys? Be listened to by anyone, especially my attorney. Again, you've had now 8 attorneys. You're claiming none of them listen to you? Be respected for who I am truly and especially by my attorney, and not be disrespected for the mutilated, it's hard to read some of her handwriting here, malicious murderer, in quotes, all the world has falsely, incorrectly created and believes me to be. Well, Sarah, you are charged with the murder of George, okay? And that would make you an alleged murderer. Whether or not you meant to do that, well, that's kind of beside the point. You're charged with murder. I mean, that's why people are saying you're allegedly a murderer. Be treated fairly, lawfully, and be protected by the justice system. I feel like that she's been treated more than fairly. Again, numerous attorneys, judges talking to you. You've been writing letters to these judges, the second judge now. And that's not really normal from clients, from what I understand. Properly, rightfully, completely defend myself. Okay, when have you not done that? I think from the very beginning, from the time you called 911, you said, we were playing hide and go seek. I don't know what happened. I must have passed out. I must have went to bed, and oh my gosh. I mean, really? You've been defending yourself and your actions, whether or not they're correct or right, from day one. So that I don't get at all, personally. See all and know the same as the world can and does, including my attorney, from all the phenomenal, non-permissive amount of my entire case being available online, globally, before my trial, and most important, before I have seen myself. What doesn't anyone know already about my case? How about my side and everything about everything? You told your side of things to the detectives. You told it to the officer who first arrived on the scene, and you told it to those detectives. What else is your side? And that is what your trial is for, Sarah. Your trial is for you to defend yourself. And remember, I have said, even though I personally believe you're guilty, okay, you have every right to a fair trial. That is the right of every American. Be correctly understood that I am not the problem for reasons I am mal-appointed by the court attorney number 8. See my letter of 7/21/23. You are the problem, Sarah. Most folks don't have to have 8 attorneys assigned to them. And as Patricia Cashman stated, you're indigent. If you want to pay for your own attorney, if you want to get someone to get you an attorney, you could totally do that. Say what I want and should, but all the world can, and say it all wrong and warped. What are we getting wrong? I mean, it's pretty clear what happened. And again, when you go to trial, okay, if you ever get to trial, because all these shenanigans are becoming a problem to actually getting to that point. You just never seem to get past a pre-trial, okay? If you get to a trial, you get a jury, both the state and the defense is going to make sure that they get jurors that are willing to give you a fair shot, okay? They're going to listen to the case completely. And they're the ones that are going to decide your fate. The world is not going to decide your fate. It's going to be 12 people in a box. Why won't my attorney give me an honest answer? Well, I have a feeling she's done that. But an honest answer about what specifically? That's a good question. Show me everything she says she has and finish reviewing for my case, but withholds from me after I asked repeatedly for and about. Again, I feel like this is stuff that's like she said as far as this is concerned. But she's offering you this information or giving it to you, and then you're just complaining about it. Giving an answer other than, I'm putting this to rest, that's not necessary, or I'm not having this conversation with you. Well, considering what we've heard from you when you go to court and these letters, I could totally understand her saying, I'm not having this conversation with you. I can visualize that one for sure. Grant me access to anything I ask for in and about my case. If you're not getting stuff about your case that you're allowed to have, you should get everything that's your case. Yeah, I agree. But again, from what Cashman stated at the last the last hearing, you have everything, and you had it already, and she gave it to you again. Like the detectives in my case, stop putting words in my mouth. They didn't put any words in your mouth, and I watched your interview/interrogation at least 3 times. You were the one just talk. They didn't have to say much at all. You know, I mean, you had the right to remain silent, and they told you that, but guess what? You decided to talk. And that's okay, because detectives are all there for it, and they didn't put words in your mouth. You put your own words in your mouth, and then you spewed them out. And they were recorded, and they will be used against you in your trial. Tell me what's going on in my case. It's been well over 100 days. She has been my attorney, and I still do not know ongoing 5 years. Again, what do you not know or understand about your own case? Those of us that have been following your case for a while now, I think we know a lot about your case. I don't understand what you don't know about your case. You don't seem to express the what is it that you do not know and what is it that you do not agree with. Answer any of my questions. I'm sure that she's answered lots of your questions, but your questions probably never end. It's like a toddler just saying, what's this? Why does that go there? Well, why is the sky blue? Why is the grass green? I mean, after a while, she's going to be like, listen, I got other things to do, man. Ever ask me any questions? How can she supposedly know everything she needs to know? Well, I'm sure she's asked you questions. And also all the evidence kind of speaks very loudly again. And from what she's been told, heard, read, or seen, reassure that she's on my side for me, not against. Well, she's going to be on your side, Sarah. But we've all gotten the impression at this point, and it's very obvious to the outsider, that you don't want to work with any attorney. You don't. I mean, you're not giving them a chance at all. All you want to do is, you look like you're so happy when they give you a new one, and it doesn't take long for you to go, oh, they don't like me, I don't like them, they're rude. Oh, she's mean to me. Come on, dude. Why have I already been judged in the court of public opinion? How did that happen? Well, I hate to tell you, honey, that happens every day. Okay? The court of public opinion, though, is not going to be your trial. Okay? Look at all these current trials out there right now. You've got, Delphi. You've got, the Idaho Fort. They have all been judged in the court of public opinion. And especially when you're a high-profile case, you're going to be judged in the court of public opinion. That's just how it works. But the court of public opinion is not what pronounces you innocent or guilty at trial. Why have I been sentenced by anticipation and condemned before my predicted trial? Again, that goes along with the whole that you have to get to trial. You have to let the jury decide, okay? It's not me. It's not anybody else. It's the jury that sits in that box. They're the ones that decide if you're innocent or guilty, period. Why does my attorney and all the world think my case is already over? Well, I will say we would like it to already be over. I mean, let's be honest. It's been going on, like you said, almost 5 years. You should have been to trial, and it should have been done. Everyone just wants this to go to trial for you to get your days in court, and to move on. Your Honor, during our first introduction at my last withdrawal of court-appointed attorney, number 7, Hobson, you stated to me your involvement with any of my letters. You stated to me that your involvement with any of my letters. I am still going to write my letters as congruently as they are the word where all my potential jurors are located, and this is the only way anyone, including yourself, knows the very necessary insight to my continued disadvantages, hindrances, impediments that I am still experiencing, on top of the new spurring my intentions to write. The race to the pulpit is unfair, and it's important to me that you are aware and understand what transpires when the news cameras are off and when we are all between my status hearings. The jurors are not going to be reading all this stuff. At least the ones that are probably selected are not going to know any of this stuff. Folks like me, and yes, I'm in your county. If I get called, they're not going to put me on your jury. Not only have I followed this case, I've covered it here. So, folks that have followed your case for all these years, we won't be there. There are going to be people who don't know this case. There's lots of them out there, trust me. Two are so many of the advantageous embezzlers, racketeers, mindless lemmings, and just altogether mean people can use their freedom of speech, not knowing me in any way other than what's being said by all the other mean people and being said incredibly incorrectly. So can I. Okay, so you're in jail and we're not, so you kind of lose your freedom of speech. There's a lot of freedoms you lose when you're behind bars. Do you have a right to your opinions and thoughts? Absolutely. Everyone's going to have that forever. That's still part of being an American. And you're going to have that, but you have a lot of restrictions on what your freedoms are right now, as you know, since you've been there since 2020. As the compelling, annoyed detectives in my case, Cospel had to falsify documents and Lowen wore his gun for me to see. I don't think they falsified any documents, Sarah. I am sure you are familiar with, after watching all my plastered, high, misconstrued over 30 million views just on one site, interviews, and in which they both repeatedly attempted to feed me their incorrect, incomplete, hypothesized opinion by stating to me everyone has their limits at this seemingly endless point of perpetually of nonsense and lawlessness still growing, and I very much want to advance to the next level after ongoing 5 years now. A genuine concern limit has been reached. Why I'm still not being included in my case, how much more of my case itself is being added hourly, especially after this letter gets loose to the internet, increasing the mass infection and destruction of my hopes to have a fair trial. Anything fair, my side foremost, and wondering how if my attorney drank the punch like everyone else. Wow. All right. Well, again, the jury is going to be selected from mostly people who don't know this case. And the more you write, the more you say publicly in court, okay? When you do your little hearings there, the more you write, and this all goes up because this is all public record, the more the world knows, Sarah. And those detectives, as far as I'm concerned, they didn't do anything wrong. They gave you your Miranda rights, and you couldn't help yourself. You were ready to talk, and you thought that you didn't do anything wrong, and you were all about, George is, he's got problems, and I try to help him all the time, and, all yada, yada, yada. And, you just never thought for a hot second that you did a damn thing wrong. You didn't think that at all. If you would have not put him in the suitcase or let him out of the suitcase when he was telling you he couldn't breathe, and you wouldn't have taken that video, you wouldn't be here today. All aforementioned reasons and so many more for this letter to be written, hoping to deter some of the unfair, one-sided finger-pointing of the corruption and malpractice being directed at me only by those in the justice system who are trying to deflect the shame and shock from me fearlessly challenging the status quo. And it must be so because it's in my face on the computer at the same time on my boob tube television. Wow, your boob tube. Okay. Brainwashed, ignorant followers of disbelief, conformity, and greed trying unsuccessfully to make my life by character assassination seem worse than theirs. No, two, when anyone points their finger, one, it's impolite, and two, 3 points back at you. How many have tried it to see? Wow, that was enlightening. See, you know what's going on online because you watch your boob tube. You've got access to some of that stuff in jail. We all know you do. And you're just, again, you're not happy because you screwed up. You royally screwed up. You caused the death of George. Period. Put the stone down, and as there would be no casting of anything today except maybe for the role of my part for all the pre-conclusion documentaries and crystal ball real-life stories of the true crime incorrectly formulated from everyone supposedly knowing me and judging who they think I am, what really happened, and is going to futuristically. Well, I think what's going to happen is if you ever get past an attorney, you're going to have a jury selected and you're going to have a fair trial. And then, if you're found guilty, you're going to go back to jail or prison. And I know you're going to say, well, what if I'm innocent? Again, I don't think you're innocent at all. But if you were, then they let you out. But we all have seen the evidence. And there's more, because you know that they don't show everybody everything. But yes, we have seen the videos you took of George in the suitcase begging you to let him out, that he can't breathe, and you telling him to, F off, okay, F you. And then we also saw your interviews with detectives. Public knowledge, public information. But yes, there is a lot more stuff that we don't know. Every case is like that, Sarah. Every case. Remember, 3 Point back, soothsaying is not a real job. Well, you keep telling yourself that, buddy. To sum it up, in the words of my attorney, after I told her to Google me, she stated, there's a lot. She's not wrong. There's a lot. But a lot of it comes out of these letters you write. I mean, this video here is coming out of that. To sum it up in the words of myself, the defendant stated to my attorney after she stated that to me, when can I see? How much longer do I have to wait? Or how many attorneys must be withdrawn for me to be included in my case? And be included more than the world presently is. This is my case in every aspect. Yes, but you only have so many rights when you commit a crime and you're awaiting trial, okay? This is why you're in jail and the world isn't in jail. I don't know if we have to explain the freedom and committing crimes thing to you, but seems like you might. See, all my aforementioned ongoing 5-year questions I am still waiting on for answers. Yeah, dude. Sarah, you've done this back and forth thing. It's like you just go in, circles and circles and circles and circles, and maybe other shapes too, but it's definitely you're stuck in a rut, okay? You're not cooperating with anybody. You don't want to take blame for anything. And instead of thinking about who's pointing fingers, you should just look in the mirror. I'm going to assume that there's at least one in the jail. Also, I want to make it known I walked out on my attorney in our last meeting due to her unwarranted, uninformative, unprofessional, snotty attitude and her untruthful answers to my questions and beyond. The retarded, vicious circle we enter every time we meet is a waste of time. And I'm saying that because that being in jail with supposedly endless amounts of. How she treats me is extremely prejudiced, hostile, and unconcerned. And you're the only one complaining, right? What is it exactly that she's saying to you? You threw this same stuff out at the judge. You said she lied to you. And he asked you what she lied to you about. And you talked about the bond. And she didn't lie to you about the whole bond situation. So it's hard for me to believe that she's unprofessional, she's untruthful to you, Do I think that she's probably gets annoyed with you? I think that's probably possible. But that's just because of how long your case has been going, your attitude, because you probably just sit there and you repeat yourself. You're like, well, I want to do this. And then she goes, well, that's not going to happen, but let's see if we can do this. But I don't want to. I mean, come on. She is very frustrating. I think that she would probably say the same about you. 1, to balk or defeat in an endeavor. 2, to induce feelings of insecurity, discouragement, or dissatisfaction. And 3, to bring to nothing. Are you using a dictionary there, Sarah? So much I presented my solution in order to coexist with and work together in a hopeful, progressive, positive, appropriate manner. I added pretend judge, in quotes, to our interactions so she could calm down and ease up on her condensation, offensive demeanor, and obvious prejudgment. She seems like everyone else not to remember I am innocent until adjudged otherwise. I think she knows that, and she has over 40 years of experience, Sarah. I think she's just frustrated with you, and you think that she's frustrating you. Again, I think that seems to be a you and her together are probably just like, and because she's headstrong. I see Cashman as a very, from what the little we've seen of her, and then I've looked up about her, she's a well-respected criminal attorney. But she's not going to sit there and let you insult her, call her a liar, call her names. At some point, she's like, listen, you're either gonna listen to me or whatever. I mean, at some point, enough is enough, Sarah. She treats me as if I am not. After my introduction and explanation with pretend judge in the room or on the phone, I am trying to help her understand how she's making herself extremely unwelcoming. Again, probably just your own personal interpretation. When in front of a real judge and in the courtroom is how she should treat me, her client, at all times. I should not have to invent pretend judge in order to be, and I am not all wrong for wanting to be respected. No matter the outcome, I am innocent until adjudicated otherwise. I agree with that sentence completely. My attorney, everyone should be fair, unbiased, trustworthy, honest, supportive. I don't think about supportive because I'd be honest, most of us don't support you. Informative, protective, automatically, and effortlessly. Okay, yes, your attorney's going to fight for you. She's going to treat you fairly and make sure he or she does the best of their ability. But you're asking for a lot from the public and others. Because the world, nobody has to treat you fair. The world is unfair, Sarah. I should feel secure, highly confident, proud in her representing my life. Well, the taxpayers are paying for her, Sarah, which includes me. Because, I live in Orange County. And my tax dollars are going to all of your legal stuff and everyone else's that is getting represented by the state. And, again, she's a good attorney. I really don't believe you gave her a chance. I do not have said to her many times regarding her monumental disbelief in me and my case, which I believe contributes greatly to her maniacal attitude toward me. I'm hoping by this letter she will pick up the sword of injustice and fight alongside, not against me, as so many unmotivated, overwhelmed, weak attorneys prior who bowed out ungracefully and crept away from the battlefield unsuccessful. Well, you got a sense of you got an imagination going there, Sarah. I don't know what to tell you. You're insulting all the other attorneys with that particular portion of your letter. Oh, they all walked away because they're ungraceful and But she should pick up the sword of injustice. The sword of injustice for Sarah Boone. All right. Maybe attorney number 9 will do that. My case equals bizarre, equals unknown, equals different, equals ignorance, equals misunderstood, equals unfair. No, I disagree with that completely, but that's your opinion. This does not mean my case can't equal success, and in more than one way. What are you defining as success, Sarah? That's what I want to know. Is success that we all see that, oh, you didn't really mean to put him in there, and oh, it's awful that you were drunk and you passed out, and you took this video of him and you told him that's how you feel when he cheats on you, and then you fell asleep and he died in the suitcase. But it's okay, Sarah. Let me pat you on the head and let me give you hugs and go, it's okay. You can go back into the world because, you didn't do anything wrong. No. No. That is not going to happen. This does not mean okay, I just read that. Sorry about that. While everyone continues to ring their bells of maleficence, I am ringing mine of hope, honor, plausibility, boldness. Listen. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you feel so hopeful and all that. I mean, it is your case, so somebody has to feel that way, I guess. I am not a murderer. Well, I don't agree with that. I believe you're an alleged murderer. And we have to say that because you haven't been found guilty yet. But you're being charged with murder, Sarah, so yeah. The justice system should equal fair, faith, trust, respect, innocent until and if adjudicated otherwise. 3-point back. Sarah Boone. Confused cat meme. Yes, thank you. I don't have any idea what that means. All right. Now she's talking about a video visit. June 4th. It's a 12-minute video visit. In addition to my previous letter intended for hand delivery on 6/7/24 at my status hearing, today my attorney made a video visit to go over everything I've been asking her for and have also sent her personally in 2 letters, 520 and 525, all on the public video visitation box where on both sides of me, less than 5 inches away from my visit, other inmates were having their visits also. I have explained to my attorney numerous times previously in writing and verbally despite the noise level. I do not in any way feel comfortable having in-depth private meetings regarding my entire criminal case on the visitation box where there is no privacy whatsoever and held in an open bay dorm with more than 62 other interested all ears inmates. I don't know what the rights are of inmates awaiting trial as far as meetings with their attorneys, as far as that's concerned. That's not something I'm aware of. I know you have your attorney-client privileges, but I would assume if that's the way they have stuff, I assume that that's legal. But again, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not really sure how that works. I cannot fully participate, if at all, from the entire dorm, officer included, trying to participate also in my case. As always, my attorney did not listen or care after I repeatedly tried reminding her of my insecure environment, barking at me I can listen or not, still going over speaking and not at all allowing me to respond. After repeating to her over and over and over while she's beginning to speak louder and over me still to please schedule an in-person meeting where all can be discussed further, privately with no success of being heard, I disconnected the visit telephonically. She uncooperatively, she's impossible, see previous letter or ask her for a copy of the 2 I sent her. I was trying to remedy or lessen before sending this to you, Your Honor, and not having to include. Now it's a race to the pulpit. My question, please, who acts like that and still be able to call themselves professional? The visitation box is primarily for family and friends to connect, and if I'm not sure exactly what that says. From an attorney, reminders, notices, quick questions, not high-level confidential case information. She, like other former attorneys who always blame their dysfunctions on me, said, "You don't like the answers I give you. What answers? See pages 1, 2, and 3. If that question's been asked to you by multiple attorneys, I think that you should pick up on that. But I will say about the visitations, that I don't know, Sarah. And if I know folks that watch this video, maybe there is something to that. You may have something on that. I am not the problem, except that I want to and should be treated fairly with respect, acting more professional than the paid. I've been doing this for over 40 years professional. After so long and all the experience, common courtesy, customer service, and listening skills should have been acquired. Well, she's not a cashier at the Walmart, Sarah. She's an attorney. So, customer service, yeah. Courtesy, I'm sure she's tried to be courteous to you, and I'm sure she's listened to you. And you are the problem in a lot of ways. All attorneys, do you remember why you even wanted to be one? Remind yourself. I'm sure they question their career path once they get in the room with you. But that's my personal feeling on it. No one listens, and it works in everyone's favor but mine, that I am a, quote, murderer, unquote, stuck in jail so they can pin me on their uninterested, unmotivated, hopeless, they're going to leave me over her haughty attitude. I am not wrong for not thinking less of myself because everyone else has and does this present attorney foremost. You really do think highly of yourself. I'll agree with that. The justice system expects me and other inmates, aka clients, to accept its subpar, nonchalant, hypocritical, next on the list attorneys they keep aimlessly throwing darts for and malappointing, praying they don't withdraw. I have not fired any attorneys appointed in my case. Well, a lot of them want to leave because they can't deal with you, Sarah. It's always the same issues. So you are just impossible to work with. And the fact that you don't get that after all this time, that's a big problem. From me expecting the highest equal standards possible for wanting the absolute best outcome in my preposterous, mismanaged case. If you want a great attorney besides one given to you by the state, you gotta pay. Yes, these court-appointed attorneys, they're going to do their job, Sarah. They're going to defend you. They're going to present your side of the case and do their best. But they're not going to be to the same fight and extreme that one that you paid by the hour or what have you would do. And representing myself is not an option, as both judges have now threatened me with from being outspoken and intelligent in all of my observations of the ongoing abuse. Well, I have a feeling that's gonna be probably happening, though, if you can't work with the next attorney. You either got to work with these attorneys, Sarah, or represent yourself. Because not only is the system over it, we the taxpayers are over it. I am and have experienced. I have no experiences from it always being the same. Blame Boone. I refuse to be moved in wanting respect, no matter who everyone thinks I am. Clarity, inclusion, honesty, and professionalism. Well, Boone, you put yourself in this predicament. This little adventure, remember you described it in court as, oh, my adventure. So you put yourself in this situation and you're having to deal with it now. And you've made it so much harder on yourself. You only have yourself to blame. You truly do. And another great reason not to have my case meetings on the public visitation box is my personal confidential inmate information, such as my visitation list 2020 through 2023 with names, etc., my interactions with inmates and officers, what I eat and when, and my personal jail calls also being thrown online. For what? To hate me more or try to get others to because I don't eat breakfast or because I know some Latin have short hair or my penmanship is nice. or because I'm not getting fat and sleeping all day, but rather fully applying myself, fighting still, making everyone upset from not having to fabricate, nunciate, I'm not sure what she's got there, splice and edit. The world apparently knows all. No, I think that title would go to you, Sarah. You know it all. Or you think you do. What's next? How many times I go to the bathroom and what functions I perform? Well, since you asked, how many times do you pee a day, Sarah? No one knows anything nor seems to want to from being comfortable in their corruption and stirring to be on top with ratings, web hits, and money. My case details, if anyone forgot, and if you think about it, all that keeps getting plastered and plagiarized, posted and poked fun at about me is all in my favor, proving myself right about all the mindless lemmings, shut-ins, the justice system, advantageously abusing and profiting from everything in my cases before my trial and before I've seen. Well, again, you have given everybody this fodder, you know? I mean, we had the suitcase videos, the interrogation interview and the body cam, but this other stuff, you've provided that. Yeah. Please be sure to read my attachment for FRCP Rule 3.220E, restricting disclosure. Am I the only one who thinks of these things? When can I win in anything? It's coming. I am not the problem. Yeah, you are. And if anyone were to slip on my slides and have to experience, tolerate, deal with any of what I have and am, would bravely be doing the same. Well, I don't think your slides would fit, and I don't think I want them on my feet, for many reasons, Sarah. But again, you created your own hole. Your actions and your choices did this to you. And almost 5 years later, and you still can't take any of the blame. Don't knock it till you try it. 3-point back, race to the pulpit. Again, always, Sarah Boone. Yeah. All right. And the rest of this pretty much goes into where she's copied a law book and goes into like about discovery information, what she's allowed to have, and then she goes into definitions, defendant's obligation, So the rest of this stuff is really just her copying a law book or books, and then she also copied a law dictionary at the end here. Let me get down to that for some definitions. So, because I guess she taught herself some more vocabulary words. Yeah, here we go. Legal ethics, abuse of process. All right, here's the only other thing that is really interesting in this. Okay. And it's hard to put it all on the screen because you really can't. She has decided to give us 2 maps. She's got her own presentation here, And it says publicly exploitation and saturation. Now, there's stars on all these states, and she's going to tell us what they mean. Okay? And all these, looks like these countries and everything. Okay. So she gave us the United States map and the world map. So again, she's, she's at least, again, I'm glad that she's educating herself while she's in jail. Publicly exploitation and saturation. The first page, she says, is a United States map. Okay. To date, each star is a state where I have received correspondence via mail or message regarding my current criminal case. And page 2 is the world map. It's a continent. Ugh. Sorry, I can't speak, you guys. To date, each star is a continent where I have received correspondence via mail or message regarding my criminal case. The number grows daily. I gotta say, though, see, there's a lot of people who like to write to people in jail, so I'm glad you got some pen pals. Most all letters and messages are available for review and understanding of the impact of my case details being made readily available on the global internet, creating wrongful ignorance, hate, and massive prejudice before my trial. Yeah, Sarah. I, the defendant in my case, have not yet ongoing 5 years fully reviewed or even seen all of my case details. Everyone in the world has already had the opportunity to do so themselves. The continuation of the obvious exploitation allows the world to keep pressing their incorrect, presumed, unfair theories, ideas, accusations, forcibly insinuating I committed criminal acts. You did commit criminal acts, Sarah. We have an alleged murder, but it's a crime. You can't put someone in a suitcase and zip them up and not let them out. You can't do that. That's a crime. My present attorney said it is not necessary to receive a court order I've been trying to obtain to download my case information to apply from the OCCD tablets. My former attorneys are withholding some of my case contents I have supplied to them and which have been deemed lost. Many other items have been returned, not to myself but to the next attorney, and which have been unable to be located to date. I am missing innumerable case items which I continuously request to be returned or obtained without success. Yeah, so again, I think Cashman has stated that she's gotten everything to you that's available, and the world has not seen all of your stuff, Sarah. We've seen a lot. We've seen the basis of the case, but no criminal case, no detectives, investigators, DA's office, they don't release everything. They don't. All right, and here's some information about evasion of privacy, because apparently she thinks she's got rights to privacy in jail. Sarah, you don't have a privacy right in jail. No, you don't. So she's going on about my personal individual criminal cases being advantageously exploited and abused from all of my significant life-saving suppressible case details, evidence, proof being illegally obtained by coercion, trickery, duress, confusion, and without my permission in any form, written or verbal, to anyone, then broadcasted, distributed, hand delivered to the entire planet, states, countries, contents containing all of my potential jurors, causing irreparable or erroneous falseness, greatly tainting my jury pool altogether by forcibly attributing heavily influenced, incorrect, inappropriate motives, theories, ideas. You know, you didn't allege that the investigators, detectives, did any coercion or trickery until now. This is definitely a new route for you. And I don't believe that they did any of that. It's very clear. And again, you don't have rights to privacy when you are in jail. This obvious exploitation and invasion of my privacy, you don't have privacy, Sarah, is creating unnecessary, unlawful oppression, depleting all of my entitled opportunities to be given a fair, proper, successful conclusion of my case. A misprejudged has already been made unfairly against me from the undeniable violations of my constitutional rights and due process of law as a result of my entire case and personal life being publicized globally before my rightful trial, which lawfully, ethically should be without disadvantage and free from all particularly deceitfulness and dishonesty made from said evident exploitation. And then she's going to define what being exploited and exploitation, what abuse is, what significance is, what, She's teaching herself more vocabulary, so it's good that she knows how to use the books, though, in the law library at the jail. So, again, this is a lot of the rest of these pages is her going through these definitions, because obviously the judge and the attorneys have no idea what these mean. Yeah. And then she goes on here. Again, she just definitely... It's definitely complaint. Oh, she looked up what a FOIA was. Well, glad she educated herself. The federal or state statute requiring a government agencies to release information on request. It's a statute that requires dissemination of information held by government agencies, the regular publication of such information, or by the release of such information only by request. The 9 categories of government information exempt from the Freedom of Information Act are: law enforcement records, if their production could reasonably be expected to interfere with enforcement proceedings, to deprive a person of a right to a fair trial or impartial adjudication, to constitute an unwarranted invasion of personal privacy, to endanger the life or physical safety of an individual. Well, Sarah, I don't think your life is in danger, except maybe by your own self. And again, this is all legally available stuff. It's not an exemption. Everything that's been available to the public. The DA's office hasn't done a thing wrong, Sarah. Well, so at least it's not 58 pages when she goes through a law book and a law dictionary. But I don't know, guys. I really don't know. It's like she's in so much denial. It's like it's almost seeming to me impossible. She's not going to ever be pleased by anyone. And I have no idea what Judge Kraynick's going to do. And I feel sorry for him and all the attorneys who tried to deal with her. And she's making everything worse on herself. All she had to do was keep her mouth shut when they took her in, not say a word, not pretended that these investigators were her friends, because cops are not your friends when you've committed a possible murder, Sarah. They're not your friends, okay? They're like, oh, you like to talk to us? And she's like, sure, let me tell you all about myself, and let me tell you all about my boyfriend, George. And, oh, dear, he's got issues with his, with his ex, his baby mama, and he's got all this other stuff, and he's been going to these classes. I mean, seriously, Sarah, you just handed them everything they needed to know on a silver platter. You only have yourself, Sarah Boone, to blame. So this is where we stand right now, and I don't know if we're going to have... I'm going to assume right now that the dockets haven't changed as far as the September date, but I have a feeling Judge Kraynick will move something up soon, considering that Cashman has filed to withdraw, as we know. So we shall see what happens next in the crazy saga of Sarah Boone. All right, guys, I hope you have a great rest of the day. And most of all, stay safe.